the one with the skills that fit the bill. Today on the B broadcast, we zoom into those eyeing the top position in the chain of command for the Sixth Form Association. Talking to the young lady who promises dedication and commitment, innovation, strategic planning. Joining us on Zoom this evening is the immediate past secretary of the SFA and president aspirant for the 2020-2021 year, Miss Thea-Moy, who with your help wants to be elected to continue the Nevins legacy. I am Bobby Francis. This is the B broadcast. All that and more coming up. Good evening. Welcome to the B broadcast, brought to you by the B Broadcasting Commission, sponsored by the Students' Council of Yorkcastle High School. This evening, I have one of two presidential candidates eyeing the top position in the Sixth Form Association. With me this evening is Miss Thea-Moy Hill. How are you, Thea-Moy?
I'm doing excellent. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you coping with COVID-19?
I'm managing. It's not my favorite situation, but we have to press on despite the circumstances. We have to succeed regardless. Nothing is going to stop our right.
Right. Sounding like a presidential candidate indeed. Well, it's a pleasure for B Broadcast to be interviewing you this evening. Your campaign slogan, Hill, the one with the skills that fit the bill. What type of skills do you think is necessary to occupy the office of the president, and do you think your opponent has them as well?
The necessary skills that you need to occupy this position, you need to be dedicated, you need to be driven, you need to be committed, you need to be a hard worker, you need to have effective communication, you need to be passionate about what it is you are going to pursue, right? And I do believe that my opposition, that he does contain some of these aspects, but when it comes on to dedication and commitment, I believe that I beat him right there, because when I put my mind to something, there is nothing that can stop me. I will press on nonetheless, because that is my area.
Right, that is right. Your area of expertise. Awesome. Aside from being the secretary in the previous administration, what other senior leadership experience do you bring to the team?
In the last academic year, I served as a senior prefect, the vice president of the Phoenix College Club, and also a peer counselor. In previous years, I served as forum captains, deputy forum captains, and a senior prefect, as well as at my previous school. So I believe that I am equipped with the knowledge, with the skill, with everything that it needs to be as the president of the FSA.
Of the SFA. Fair enough. You're coming from Westwood High School, am I right?
Most definitely.
So, it's a bit difficult to adjust to a new climate when you're just coming in. What's your plan for a smooth transition for the newcomers here at YC?
You see, because I went through this process coming from Westwood to Yorkcastle, you experience a lot of change, especially in rules. But my advice to students is that when you come in with an open mind. You come in with the mind of having new experiences, right? So we encourage our students to be open-minded, ready for change, ready to have fun, ready to start a new leg of their life.
Tell us about yourself, Thea-Moy. You seem to be an interesting candidate.
I am a hardworking, dedicated, intelligent, and self-motivated person. I am passionate about organizing and serving others. And one of the things that I live by is the last tenet of the Optimist Creed, which is to be too large for worry, too noble for anger, too strong for fear, and too happy to permit the presence of trouble.
Presence of trouble. As an optimist, I do understand. What's your first task to tackle in the office of the president should you be elected?
should I be elected, my first task that I will tackle is the lack of involvement of sixth formers in extracurricular activities. I've found that a lot of sixth formers they're not shy, but they put themselves in a box where they're not going out and exposing themselves and going into these various extracurricular activities that we have at your castle. We have sports, we have debating, we have service, you have 4-H, you have so many clubs that meet, that meet our individual preferences. And when it, like for example, when we were finding leaders for various clubs that I'm a part of, we're looking for sixth formers, it was the same number of persons, not the same number, the same persons coming.
In recycled.
But we have so many talented persons who would fit this job, but they're not there in the club. So my first thing that I will tackle is to drive our sixth formers, to push them to engage in these extracurricular activities that are not just there to, serve as something to let you look nice on your resume, but for us to develop skills that we need to move on into the working world and, of course, into university, where most of us will be going
Into
after this.
university, just like that. Well,
Just
tell me, Miss Hill, I know you have your substance, but you're, you're going up against track star Omar Brown. You don't feel intimidated?
No, not at all. Not at all intimidated. Mr. Brown, he is a very suitable candidate. He is well known, he is dedicated. But when it comes on to organizing and ensuring that everything is done on time, I believe that I am the candidate for that job because I don't fool around.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Critics have been hitting your opponent saying it's just popularity bringing him to the table. What do you say about that?
I do believe that popularity plays a factor in bringing him to the table, but he does have some of the qualification.
Fair enough. Awesome. You're president of the Phoenix College Optimist Club of your casa, right?
Yes, I am.
You're not afraid critics might say you'd practice favoritism in putting sixth form optimists first?
No, not at all.
How you
Because
hit back at that?
I know how to balance. You have to know how to balance as a young adult. You have to know how to split your time wisely, when to do schoolwork, when to focus on FSA, when to focus on optimist, when to focus on your, you have to know and you have to prioritize. So if I'm not dealing with some FSA meeting or something regarding to FSA right now, then I'm not going to sit down, and deal with FSA business. I might have some unfinished schoolwork or some unfinished optimist work. You have to learn how to prioritize and split your time wisely, and that's the key.
But there'd be no favoritism in working with sixth form optimists rather than just non-optimist sixth form students.
Not at all. I support all my sixth formers. No, I love my optimists, but I support all my sixth formers. I will be in office to serve each and every person registered on your castle's sheet on the, our sixth form program. Right.
I hear you talk about organization. I hear you talk about commitment. Those are two pillars of being president. Other than those two pillars, though, what do you bring to the table that your opponent doesn't bring?
My patience, and I'm very calm. I'm a very calm person. I'm very approachable, right? So I'm not going to, I know how to deal with situations because I've been in so many leadership roles. You know how to speak to various persons, you know how to deal with a certain situation, not to flare up over simple stuff or anything at all, because when you flare up, that's when the problem comes. You have to be calm and you have to, so you can think straight, because if you're not thinking straight, then you're going to make some irrational decisions. So you have, right, I'm very calm and patient.
Fair enough. Just last month, the Students' Council held its first town hall, and one of the hot topics was segregation in sixth form. A source had it that there are original Yorkists versus non-original Yorkists. Do you think there is segregation in sixth form? I think there is. How do you plan to bridge that?
How do you I plan to bridge this gap. So what happened is that when you come in from a different school, I experience it. Students have it as you are not a real Yorkist. You know, they have that real Yorkist term. You're a Westwood person, but you kind of have a little bit, not even a little bit, just a little toops, a Yorkist in you. I plan to bridge this by ensuring that we host events and meetings where our students can engage with each other, right? So when they engage, when you meet new friends, you meet persons, you know, you might have looked at them at a different way before, but when you are in an environment where you are required to speak to them, we're required to engage with them, then I think that is the key.
Socialization. Fair enough. We're coming up on our first break. Speaking with Thea-Moy Hill, the one with the skills that fit the bill, seeking to give you an invoice for president of the Sixth Form Association, and all you're asked to pay with is your vote. I am Bobby Francis. You're watching the B broadcast brought to you by the B Broadcasting Commission, supported by the Students' Council of Broadcast High School, a union we can trust. We'll be back in a jiffy.
My goal. All of my goal is to reach my goal. Live a happy life, put it on me heads too. Let me start that one, yeah. Like how Martin Luther King would have started. My dream, my dream, my dream, my dream, my dream. Tell you my dream is to live my dream. Hear the most I in me sleep when me sleep. Tell you my goal, my goal, my goal. All of my goal is to reach my goal. Live a happy life, put it on me headstone. Nobody no fi cry over me dead. Look at me now, when them treat me less than gold. Put me in a box like a rectangle. Oh oh, look at me now. Oh, look at me now. Oh, look at me now. I mean, just tell you my life. Where them used to go round me, go round. No one used to come round me. My life was so lonely. Look at me now. Look at me now. Look at me now.
Happy to have you join us. Speaking with Thea-Moy Hill, President Aspirant of the Sixth Form Association 2020-2021. This is the B Broadcast, brought to you by the B Broadcasting Commission, sponsored by the Students' Council of Yorkasa High School, a union you can trust. I am Bobby Francis, your host. Thea-Moy, we're back with you. Tell us, what motivates you?
My motivation comes from my family and my friends. They are sources of my motivation. But then another thing that motivates me even more than them is just when I put my mind to something and I see the end result and I say, that's what I want. Then I am driven to achieve that goal because that's what I want and that's what I am determined to get.
That sounds like it. Let's talk a little about the polls, though. You're trailing by 5% in the recently released polls with an undecided percentage of 15. You think you've gained traction since the polls were first released?
I hope that with this interview and my video that was just published, that I do gain some advantage.
So what's going on in the Thea-Moy Hill campaign camp? A little nervousness after seeing those polls?
No, not at all, but more so of more determination to get this, to work harder, to create more posters, to send them out to more persons. I say, hey, I'm running for president. Please send this out to your friends. Put it on your status, put it on your Instagram. Just spread the word and let them know that the president to be is here.
No problem. Let's zoom into your manifesto a bit, which started with I am your next sixth form president. A bit confident there. What if you lose? peaceful retreat, or are you gonna become like a Donald Trump with a lot of protests? What do you think about that?
No. Peaceful retreat. I will be there to support the sixth form in any way which needs be.
Which needs debated this question coming. COVID-19 has come, it has rocked the world. What's your COVID-19 resilient president's action plan?
Resilience President Action Plan.
COVID-19 resilient.
COVID-19. Right. So we are, due to COVID-19, we're all in this virtual space. Some persons are not adjusting to online school. Some persons are. So one of the things that we can do is to reach out to our students, reach out, find out how are you doing, how are you coping with COVID-19, how are you coping with online school. And then with that being said, we see how we can help them to get across this problem that they're having, whether it be internet challenge, whether it be having a device or just needing someone to talk to, right? Because a lot of persons are, especially your home, you're not really talking to anybody. You're just home and in this secluded space. You need someone that you can rely on. So that's what we want to be. Well, that's what I want to be, someone where students are having a little challenge. They can just say, I'm having this challenge.
Right. Fair enough, Miss Hill. You said you don't plan to bring change, but you plan to bring growth. You don't think there are some hiccups and drawback from the last year's executive that you probably want to change entirely?
Entirely, no, not at all. I believe that last year we had a dedicated set of students on our executive who were there, who are really there. So I want to build on that, not necessarily change. I mean, we have a good sixth form program. There's, we want to build, we want to create growth. We want, there's so much space for growth. Why change when you can grow?
And you can build on what's already there. Indeed, set up a system where students can voice their concerns. You don't think that the system in place is effective? And if not, who do you blame for that?
The system that we have in place, I believe that a lot of students are not aware of the system that is in place. Honestly, I am unaware of the system that is in place. I believe that we go to our form teachers if we're having a challenge, or a student council, and we tell them this challenge. But guess what? Our teachers or form teachers, they're very burdened. They are doing a lot of work. So this is where we bring in the sixth form association, and we devise this way in which we can reach students, this way in which students know that, hey, if they have a problem, this is how I get this problem solved. And next, when they tell us about the problem, we take it from there and try our best to help them.
Fair enough, Miss Hill. I see you talking about increased community service. Students, they generally don't like community service. They didn't want to do it in grade 11. We're going to convince them to come on board now.
To convince them to come on board, it's not going to be a simple task, but it's a challenge that I am up to, because giving back to our community is fundamental. It is something that I believe that everyone should engage in, because guess what? There's a point in time in our lives when we were not at our best. We're probably still not at our best, but when we were lacking in some area, and of course we probably had somebody come and help us through it. And I believe that all our students should develop that love for community service, or that passion rather, to give back their time, their time to persons who are in need of this.
Fair enough. I loved how you ended your manifesto. Impact others positively, uplift our colleagues, and find that hidden flame. What inspired that?
I am an optimist, and our optimist theme for the 20 to 21 year is Ignite. I love that theme, especially in this COVID-19, because you want to learn a new skill. You want to find something in yourself that you never knew that you had. And we have a lot of students who try their best to tear down their classmates for whatever reason. And we need to break that, because that is not good. We need to bring out the best in ourselves, our community, and those around us. And I think that's something that we really need to improve on as a sixth form.
Fair enough. At sixth form, prefecture and students council, they want to run by themselves, wholesomely independent. What's your plan to effectively include administration while not taking away the independence of your executive?
At the end of the day, we are only students, trying to make an impact, trying to take up some form of responsibility. And in everything that we do, we need the administration. We need the administration to say, okay, this sounds good. You need to pick up here. We need to be able to take correction, to learn from those who are set above us. So my thing is that we have to work with the administration. We want to try and be as independent as possible, but the administration is key.
Fair enough. What's your position on giving the staff advisor to Sixth Form Association a casting vote on your executive?
I believe that they should get a vote.
A vote.
Right.
Fair enough. You think there's a struggle for power among the different leadership groups in the school? And if you think so, what do you think you can do as president of the SFA to reduce that struggle?
Yes, I do think that there is that power thing. Each little group, student council, prefecture, FSA, everybody wants to be taking control of the school. But guess what? We cannot do it alone. We are stronger together. So when we put together our forces, what we can achieve is beyond our imagination.
I love the sound of that. Male dominance has been the climate at your castle for quite a while, and you're a female candidate running on the presidential ticket. So the ladies are looking at you. What's Thea-Moy's plan for female empowerment at YC?
Female empowerment. Oh my gosh, that is a difficult question right there, because I believe that we are all equal, both male and female. We should try and empower each other, not to empower females over males or males over females, but for all of us to balance each other out.
You don't think there is male dominance though at YC? You don't think that's the case? You think we're all equal there?
I do believe so, because I see great female leaders at your castle and also male leaders. So I believe that we're on a playing field.
Fair enough. We're going to tune into some election watch now and get your view on that. Let's pull up the junior vice president's race, Mr. Producer. Let's see what's on the screen for that.
Let's see what's on the screen.
We see Lennon Richards leading the VP race with 45%. Paul says he has, Natasha has 10%, and Paul says he has the undecided 30%. What's your view on the junior VP's race? I presume you're watching the election very closely, making out your executive. What's your view on the VP race, and who has your vote?
Honestly, Paul Jones has my vote. He
Really?
has the skill set that I believe that you need to fulfill this role. He has mentioned that he has served as head boy, deputy head boy, and an entire list of other positions. But when you listen to him speak, you get the leadership that I believe that we need.
So you don't think Lennon has the skills to fit the bill?
I don't think that he completely has the skills to fit the bill. He can build on some of those skills. And I believe that one of the reasons Lennon is at 45% is that, Mr. Jones is new to our school, and Lennon is a original YC student, as we like to call him. So he's more well-known than Mr. Paul Jones, who has just entered our system.
Fair enough. But just for clarity, you'd have no preference with working with anyone who comes into the job.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Fair enough.
They're both competent persons.
Let's pull up the events. Fair enough. Let's pull up the events coordination race. We've heard original Yorkists coming into SFA too. Let's pull up the events coordination. Let's see what that's looking like. Very tight race here, Miss Sill, Alicia Harvey, 38%, Leopold Smith, 37%. And if I follow protocol, quote unquote, both original Yorkists, what's your view on that? And who has your vote?
My view on this is that these are two students who are able to get the job done. So anyone who gets the position with me, I believe that they will do an excellent job in office.
I know Ricardo Daly wasn't on this poll, but are you familiar with his campaign?
I'm not as familiar as how I'm with Alicia and Leopold.
I see you're evading the question though. Who has your vote for that one?
Can I ask you a question? Will this part be up online?
The entire interview.
Because, at the end of the day, whatever happens, we don't want any tension to be
Fair
there.
enough.
Right, fair enough.
Fair enough. But is that you're going to answer the question? You're not going to answer it.
My vote would go with Leopold.
This is an interesting one. Sources have it Rebecca has taken the lead, but the polls show us that Sabia is in the lead. Danica withdrew. Talitha is gaining traction. What's your view on this very tight race?
This is indeed a very tight race, but my two top candidates would be with Talitha and Sabia, because I believe that they are very dependable persons, and as a secretary, you need to be dependable, you need to be committed. When the president or anyone calls up on you, then you need to be able to be there. And oh my gosh, can't believe I've let him answer this question. And my vote would go with Miss Anderson.
Awesome. I'm saying thank you for your cooperation with that one. Let's look at the hotly talked about public relations officer race with featuring Miss Amanda Slew. That one is being hotly talked about versus your very own Thea-Moy Nunes. Talk to me about that.
For the PRO position, I believe that Thea-Moy and Amanda are both suitable candidates for this position. They're both outspoken. They can communicate well. They are a people person.
Who you think gonna get the 27%?
Oh, putting me in a tough spot here, Mr. Francis.
I can imagine. That's what B broadcast does. Brings you the buzz.
I believe that Thea-Moy would get the 27%. The undecided.
See how we run into our break with the treasurer's race. All right, Amelia Taylor, 30% against Corey Gordon, 25%. Much of this race is left undecided, but both have been campaigning hard. Corey Gordon, is popular amongst the new students coming in. Amelia Taylor is popular amongst the returning Yorkies. Who do you think gonna get that 45?
I believe that either one of them can get this 45 because they are both suitable candidates.
Right. It's a very tight race.
It is a very tight race.
But what message do you have for your treasurer? What do you have to say to your treasurer?
What I would have to say to my treasurer is that, you should get ready to ensure that our funds are up to date and helping us to carry out some very nice events, not events, some fundraising projects, managing our finances very well.
Right. And there's a system to deal with accountability in SFA, right?
I'm not sure, but if I'm elected as president, there will be.
All right, I hear you. We're talking with Thea-Moy Hill. Hill, the one with the skills that fit the bill. Today on the B broadcast, going into our break, the B broadcast was brought to you by the B Broadcasting Commission, sponsored by the Students' Council of Newcastle High School, a union you can trust. We'll be right back in a minute.
Let me start that one, yeah. Like how Martin Luther King would have started. My dream, my dream, my dream, my dream, my dream. Tell you my dream is to live my dream. Hear the most I in me sleep when me sleep. Tell you my goal, my goal, my goal. All of my goal is to reach my goal. Live a happy life, put it on me headstone. Nobody no fi cry over me dead. Look at me now, when them treat me less than gold. Put me in a box like a rectangle. Oh oh, look at me now. Oh, look at me now. Oh, look at me now. I me just tell you my life. Where them used to go round me, go round. No one used to come round me. My life was so lonely. Look at me now. Look at me now. Look at me now.
Thank you for staying with us. Speaking with Thea-Moy Hill, the one with the skills that fit the bill, in a special edition of the B broadcast, brought to you by the B Broadcasting Commission, sponsored by the Students' Council of Newcastle High School, a union you can trust. In this final segment, Ms. Hill will be taking her final appeal to the sixth form electorate, encouraging them why they should vote for her. I am Bobby Francis, your host this evening, and we now transfer the floor to Ms. Thea-Moy Hill. Go ahead, Ms. Hill, the floor is yours. Tell us why vote Thea-Moy Hill.
Thank you, Mr. Francis. For my fellow sixth formers out there, you should vote for me because I am dedicated, hardworking, driven, and motivated to make your sixth form year memorable. Your final 2 years of high school will be one where you develop academically, socially, professionally. Vote for me and you will not regret it. Remember, on November 13, vote for the one with the skills that fit the bill. Thank you. Growth and not change.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Growth and not change. What a lovely evening this was on the B broadcast, brought to you by the B Broadcasting Commission, sponsored by the Students' Council of Newcastle High School. We were speaking with Thea-Moy Hill, President Aspirant of the Sixth Form Association for the 2020-2021 year. I was your host, Bobby Francis, presently. Only on the B.